strongest fragrances for summer nights. So the thing with summer fragrances, most of them, because they're light to cut through the heat, they're not really that long lasting. You know, you might have to reapply them throughout the day to make them perform properly. But during the nighttime, usually the temperature will drop, at least slightly. So you could wear slightly different summer fragrances compared to what you might wear during the daytime. So the key, especially for when you're going out in the evening, you want a fragrance that's going to be strong and long-lasting and noticeable. So I have a small list here of fragrances that I think that will do exactly that. So I'm going to start with one that I quite like, at least personally, is from Guerlain. This is Iris Terrifié, which means roasted iris, and that is basically you're gonna get a very strong iris note combined with some very warm notes, you know, kind of leathery, ambery sort of notes, and that because longevity comes only when you have stronger notes in themselves. So like citrus notes by themselves are not very strong. They're going to fade pretty quickly. But if you have a leather note sitting at the bottom to kind of ground that fragrance, that's going to add to the longevity, which this does exactly. So you have an overall light and breezy and refreshing fragrance grounded by some heavier notes that don't really, it doesn't make it smell too heavy. You know, it does have a little bit of heaviness, but you're still getting a nice summer fragrance option from this. And it's just very pleasant, especially if you like the iris note. You'll really enjoy this. Then, this is kind of similar. This is Fluidity from Diptyque. This also has some iris in it. It has some rose. It has a little bit of leather, carrot, things like that. This is primarily a very light and fresh sort of fragrance. Very much like fresh flowers, a grassy field, fresh linen, and things like that. So this is very light despite the use of leather notes, you know, heavier notes in the bottom, because they're not too prominent actually in the actual scent of the fragrance. It just kind of helps the fragrance, gives a little bit more layers and depth, but also more grounding power, so it'll last longer. This will probably last 6 to 7 hours, which is pretty good for a summery fragrance. Then, two from the same brand. Both of these are unisex. Gentle Fluidity, and then Aqua Colonia, or Aqua Media Colonia Forte. So the thing with this, both of these, they are very fresh, very cool and crisp. The thing is, this, I would say Gentle Fluidity is a bit more refreshing. It has juniper berries in it mixed with nutmeg. This is probably the longer lasting out of the two. This is probably 6 to 7 hours. This is maybe 5 to 6 hours. This has some green notes, so it's very dewy, kind of like you're out in the garden sort of thing. This is more like you're out in the forest, you know, by a cold stream or something. But both of these will perform really well during the nighttime, during the summer. You know, they are longer lasting than your typical summer fragrance. Then, the last one that I have, some might dispute this choice, but this is number 5. So, this, I would say, is good for the summer. It's a classic evening wear choice. You know, people have been using this to wear in the evening for about 100 years, and it's just a very pleasant fragrance. It's a floral aldehyde fragrance mixed with some heavy notes like sandalwood, musk, oak moss, things like that. It's a very classic fragrance, and the thing about it, because of those heavy notes, it's gonna last quite a long time. This is probably the longest lasting out of the bunch, probably 8 to 9 hours. So if you really want to make sure that you smell good and elegant for the evening, this is a good option because it's gonna last all evening. But those are pretty much the main options that I have for, summertime nights. So if you have any opinions about these fragrances, you can always leave those down in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.